Instead of saying, I'm going to heal myself, it might be more resistance-free and helpful for you to say something more like, I've turned in the direction of well-being, and that's what's calling me. Because when you talk about healing, you're turned in the direction of what you're wanting to overcome. But when you turn in the direction of the well-being that is really more natural and much more dominant, it's a different vibrational approach. Can you feel it? In terms of terminology, it sounds like almost the same thing, but it isn't at all. If what you're leaving is dominant, then you don't leave. If where you're going is dominant, then you go. So you just have to ask yourself what the word healing means. Is it leaving something unwanted, or is it moving towards something wanted? The word doesn't matter, but how you feel about it does. We would quiet our mind and let our mind wander on the pleasantries that your inner being. You see, when we talk about the path of least resistance, what we mean is the path toward that non-resisted thought. Non-resistance is non-resistance. The path of least resistance is the path to non-resistance. So the path of least resistance, or the path to non-resistance, is a really feel-good path. Feel the difference between overcoming something, which is full of grit and determination, and the feeling of letting well-being be. They're different feelings. And so the daydreaming that we're talking about will cause you to release resistance so that the cells of your body who are calling for whatever it is they need are allowed to receive what they need, because you're not in the way with your human and therefore bulky and awkward intervention. Through this process, do you feel more aware of your inner being existence than before? And because of your awareness of your inner being's existence, are you now more aware of your vibrational relationship with it? In other words, do your emotions tell you more? Do your emotions give you more information? And can you tell the difference between trying and letting? So that's the key. Can you feel the difference between struggle and ease? Can you feel the difference between, we don't want to get too ridiculous, confusion and clarity, blah, 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 all of that. But if you can feel the difference, and it's not a subtle difference, it's a big difference. So when you say most of the time, we want to argue with that a little bit, because we think there's a big difference between trying to make something happen and knowing that it's already happened and just being willing to allow the rest of it to catch up. The cells of your body are remarkable. They have so much capacity that science and medicine does not understand. They are remaking themselves constantly. If you want to know the closest conspiracy that affects you, it's a conspiracy of your cellular being. Your cellular being is responding to your source energy. And to the degree that you let that be, that's how you speed it up. We've said things before that are frankly just annoying to our human friends, like enjoy the journey, or just be patient and easy about it. That's annoying, because when you want something, you want it. But our favorite thing is satisfaction, feeling satisfied where I am and eager for more. Satisfied with where I am and eager for more. So one might argue, it's not easy to be satisfied when you're standing with not money when you want money, or without a partner when you want a partner, or without physical capabilities that you want before you have them. We get that, but we want to say emphatically, you can't get there from there. You have to put a bridge for yourself in the process, and that bridge is a ceasing of constant awareness of what is. And not a lot of it. 20 minutes a day of meditation is enough for you to release enough resistance, to allow enough energy to flow for it to catch on with you in your consciousness. So we can say things like, don't try so hard, And we do mean that. Or we could say things like, it's going to be all right, and we really do mean that. And we can say things, and we really do mean this, you're doing extremely well. But what you amplify here, and we are so appreciative of it because everybody's dealing with what you're dealing with to some extent. What is keeping what you prefer from coming. Say it better. Your attention to what is keeping you from what you prefer. Your attention to what is. Because you've done all the other work. You had the experience, you launched the rockets, you know how to meditate, you know how to tune in. Your guidance system is alive and well within you, you know it. So the answer to your important question, how do I speed this along, is make it not necessary that it hurry along. Let there be so much satisfaction in the moment. It's a little bit like Esther went to what she thinks is the best movie she's ever seen in her whole life, Blinded by the Light. She could hardly stay in her body. It was so good. Happy, 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 happy. Such a good movie. But she had no desire. That movie was so satisfying. She didn't want to go out and see what else was playing. She wanted to watch that movie. She wanted to watch that movie. Last week, she went to another movie. She got up and walked out of it. Didn't want to watch that movie. She can tell which movies she wants to see. She can tell by how it feels, and you can too. What I'm focused upon right now is perfect, and therefore nothing needs to change. The movie I'm watching is so great, I don't need to get up and watch another movie. The movie that's playing is so awesome, I don't need to direct it right now. That's the key. The movie that I have allowed to play because of my alignment with Source is so good, so satisfying, that I don't need to direct a movie right now. Some of your confusion, we acknowledge, has come from some of what you have thought you heard us say. Because when we ask you to be deliberate, that sounds like you want to direct your thought. We just want you to know when to direct your thought. Make sure you're hooked in and that the plot line's flowing before you add your ideas. We talk about getting out ahead of it, and this process of meditation is the supreme way for that. So we've talked about that. We've really talked about that. We know that you'd rather we'd stop talking about that because we've talked about that. Once momentum happens and then it's easier to observe what happened, it's harder than to be out ahead of it. So one might say, well, you can't get out ahead of this because the physical condition is already there. But you can get out ahead of it segment by segment. We call it segment intending. So now you're sitting and you're taking Abraham at their enthusiastic word. And you've decided that you're going to, with a notebook in front of you, just write segment. Esther writes segment and then she writes what it is. So then you just write what you intend here. I feel such appreciation for these people who are playing with me in this way, don't you? I am thankful and rather amazed. I adore my responsive body. I love the cells of my body who are kicking ass today. Esther has a foul mouth. She really doesn't. We got that from you. I love my responsive cells. I like this experience. This is a conspiracy of well-being for me. How good is this? Oh, there isn't anything I'd rather be doing in this next segment of my life experience than allowing this evolution of these things that I desire to take place right before my eyes. I feel love for these people. I feel appreciation. I feel knowledge and powerful expectation of my responsive cells. Now, don't try to repeat those words. Those were just words that we flowed into the subject. You've got words as lovely and better, but let it be what you easily feel. So now what happened is you got out ahead of it. But more important, before you even got there, you experienced the pleasure of non-resistant thought. You didn't dread going, and you didn't practice the movie of disappointment. You got out ahead of it. So now, with your segment intending, you have activated the people in the room. You've activated your relationship with the cells of your body. You've tuned into source energy. You've put yourself in a position where all that, and as our friend said earlier, more can be your experience. And here's the most important thing. In this segment, nowhere did we encourage you to say, and I will see the progress of this exercise. Nowhere. Because you're not doing this for the power to accomplish the solution to the problem. You're doing this segment for the pleasure of this non-resisted segment in time. And you're going to notice, everyone's going to notice that this is going to get kicked into high gear, but we don't even want to talk about that, because then that puts you in the place of watching for the improvement, which introduces resistance that is unnecessary to the equation. We would like you to say, Abraham, that sounded so good. I could do that every day for the rest of my life. Well, it really helps to know that there are some key things that we've been emphasizing. Satisfaction, and let's make that word even bigger. Satisfaction, which to some people means exaltation. Satisfaction could mean in God's graces. Satisfaction could mean fulfilling my life's purpose. Satisfaction can be a big old blossoming concept. Satisfaction, no matter how you're looking at it. I like what I'm licking right now. Satisfaction comes from only one place, and that's moving in the direction of a desire. Satisfaction doesn't come when you're moving away from it. It takes some doing for some of you, because you've been trained by often well-meaning people who believed for themselves and for you that ultimate satisfaction, which is God's grace, comes from your sacrifice. You got to suffer and deprive. You got to have shortage consciousness, believe that the blessings are few, so don't take too many for yourself. Believe that the pie is little, and don't be greedy and take too much of it for yourself. It's an epidemic among people, well-meaning and maybe not so well-meaning, who want to control your behavior by the thing that's the easiest to control it by. But once you find your true power, and once you find your true satisfaction, and once it becomes consistently within you, then the world looks more beautiful, and you appreciate the contrast that it is, and you don't need to control anybody, and then you have a better relationship with everybody. When people around you understand that you don't need anything from them that is different than what they're offering, that you are picking and choosing from them by your attention to what feels good to you. You're not choosing a piece of them. You're just not choosing some pieces of them. So they don't ever feel any rejection, because you're not saying, I don't choose this about you. You just don't choose it. So you don't get it. It can be complicated or it can be simple. You get to choose whether you make it complicated or whether you make it simple. And sometimes it has to be so absurdly complicated before you will allow it to be simple. That's a wonderful thing that happens. Sometimes the momentum of what you don't want just has to keep going and going and going until suddenly you're looking and you're thinking, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? It started out here and now it's there. And then something about the absurdity of what you've allowed the momentum to come to causes you to launch an enormous rocket of desire, and then you sleep and you're in a more powerful place.